Welcome to today's episode. My name is Łukasz Żrodowski. I am CEO and inventor at AMAZEMET. Today we'll explore a bit of basics of ultrasonic atomization technology. We'll explore a bit of history and explain how different modes of atomization works. Ultrasonic atomization isn't a new technology. First, it was developed in 1960s mostly for solders. It was used for tin, for lead, to create materials for solder pastes, but it lost its competition with gas atomization for higher melting materials. Today, the market is different, needs are different, the technology is different. So we kind of reinvented this technology that was forgotten for quite a long time, bringing it to the market and getting it this vibe and perks from the technology that was developed since. The market back then didn't need small quantities of ultra-spherical powder, but right now, with the development of metal additive manufacturing and new needs from academia, from AM industry, this technology proven already that it's useful for us and for our users. The history for us started back in 2016. I was a PhD student back then at Warsaw University of Technology, and my PhD thesis was on optimization of laser powder bed fusion process for bulk metallic glasses and composite structures created with those. In my grant, I had already booked some funds to create custom powders, but it occurred that getting few different batches with different chemical composition was extremely expensive. It occurred that cost of single atomization was more than order of magnitude than I initially envisioned for my grant. So I had to look for some other methods. I considered initially mechanical alloying for that, but unfortunately this method isn't very scalable, and getting even a glass of powder with mechanical alloying is a very lengthy process that also introduces certain contamination into powder. While exploring different methods for powder production, I did something very unusual for a student back then. So I took an old handbook of powder metallurgy and just to study it and explore what are the methods of powder production that could be somehow useful for my endeavor. In one of the paragraphs in this handbook, I found mentioned ultrasonic atomization. It said that it produces very spherical powders, but on a small scale, and it's not very scalable for industrial use. So I thought, it might be a solution for us. It might be a solution for my problem. And since then, we've been exploring how to use this technology, mainly to develop new alloys for AM, but also during our endeavor, we scaled it up for more of the industrial use. How does ultrasonic atomization for powder works? It's basically the very same process from other ultrasonic atomization methods, like ultrasonic humidifier. You pour water, you turn it on, and there is a gentle mist of water formed on top of the device. The very same effect we're getting in ultrasonic atomizers for powders. But instead water, we are having other liquids, like liquid steel, liquid titanium, or aluminum. All of the alloys that we can imagine. And the process is basically the same. We are using certain amplitude, so we are using certain vibrations to break internal forces of the liquid and eject tiny droplets. So there are two different modes of ultrasonic atomization: ordered mode and cavitational mode. In ordered mode, we are using moderate amplitude and then forming standing wave on the liquid surface. We are ejecting a single particle, single droplet from the melt. So those droplets are more or less the same. So as a result, with moderate amplitude, we're getting quasi-mono-sized particles as a result. If we are increasing amplitude, there is additional effect present: cavitation. Cavitation is a phenomenon where we are having a void formed in the liquid melt, and when it collapses, it creates a shockwave, micro explosion that ejects both tiny and large particles, and it basically broadens our particle size distribution. So larger the amplitude, broader the particle size distribution due to those micro explosions from cavitation. So right now in the screen you can see those two methods we are using. On the left there is induction-based ultrasonic atomization. Top you have this induction heated crucible, and our liquid alloy is pouring down onto this vibrating element we call sonotrod, and those sparks on the right are basically atomized droplets which are solidifying later on into spherical powders. At the right part of the slide you can see the plasma-based process. The moving element is our plasma torch. It's melting the top of the sonotrod, and when it's molten, when it's agitated with ultrasounds, those sparks on the right are also droplets of liquid titanium in this case, which are later on forming spherical particles. So except of frequency, there are other factors that influence effectiveness of ultrasonic atomization. One is amplitude. Higher the amplitude, more we are into a cavitational mode, broader the particle size distribution. Lower the amplitude, we are getting more of the mono-sized particles. The others are material properties. Higher the density, smaller the particles generated. Lower the density, larger the particles generated. So for example, getting fine particles with niobium is pretty easy, while getting fine particles with magnesium requires higher frequency to achieve same effect. In summary, ultrasonic atomization is well-researched technology. It was developed first in 1960s, but right now we can see renaissance of this technology used mostly for metal additive manufacturing due to new needs, especially needs of different R&D teams. We can use two different modes of atomization, ordered mode and cavitation mode. Also, to get liquid, we can use different melting units and melting methods. Plasma melting, used mostly for high melting point materials, and induction melting, mostly for low melting point materials and those with volatile elements. Thank you so very much for joining us in this episode. Next episode, we'll dive deeper, step by step, into ultrasonic atomization technology and explore capabilities of rePOWDER, device created by AMAZEMET.